it's good. It's good anchor. You go, hey doc, I love dogs. You're like, yeah, me too. I go, what's the name of your dog? His name is Scrappy. Really? What kind of dog is it? It's a Maltese. And how old's your puppy? Oh, about 10 years old. Okay, great. Instead of just saying, oh, I love dogs. Yeah, me too. So anyway, I'm trying to sell you something. No, stop selling them something.
Yeah.
Why? Because
Yeah.
no one else talks about Scrappy Doo. And so the next time you call back, you mention it. And so I've realized to, as I say, go vertical, start asking open-ended questions. And
Yeah.
you even said earlier that I was able to answer some of your questions you had just in my conversation. That's beautiful. That's your technique. And so you're shaving.
Mhm.
And that's a great way to reduce talk time and conversion ratios go up. And so you're listening. Well, we have 30-second attention spans, and most people are boring and they're not animated or they repeat the same things. And so you might need to be the rudder of their ship. Doesn't mean they're stepping on your toes and leading the dance. I didn't say that.
Mhm.
But that little rudder can move any ship any way you want. And so sometimes you need to interject at the right time, match their pacing so you can get in there quick, pull back, and reassure. And so the fact that you're listening to yourself, that's the greatest form of education, self-analysis for
Yeah.
self-improvement. And so
Mhm.
we do have KPIs, key performance indicators. We do judge you on the questioning, on the name drops,
Mhm.
on the qualification questions. But no, you and I, we're aces. We look for the soft skills. I know what you're thinking. You go, man, I should have said Richard's name there. Or I should have said, you know what? That's great after I mentioned something. Or maybe changing the tone if it becomes somber or serious, or that's fine. Like you with your fighting, you need to react. You don't have time to act.
Mhm.
And so a lot of it is the now. And so, my brother, if you're feeling something in that moment, in that conversation, drop everything else and build that,
Yeah.
as you say, building. Because, sabes una cosa, you could almost at one time find exactly what you need, and you don't even talk about the rest.
Mhm.
You know, it's so funny about these sales calls. Most people, yeah, they got to share information about a company, but no one's going to give you the body and the conclusion if you don't land the intro. They're so set on explaining their product that they don't stop and take a step back for a second and realize this incredible man moved to Thailand, speaks multiple languages, professional martial arts, and just an all around great guy and a farmer. I mean, who does these things? And that could be the one thing that gets, damn it, that's the thing that got me on your podcast. Think about it. You got all these people that are trying to get on there and to meet you and to share time with you. And I made the cut because I was raw and I was real. And then we get into the meat and potatoes on your show. But I always got the time prior to that. I had one deep breath to make my point,
Hmm.
and it hit home.
Yeah.
And so that to me is something that it's almost like telling the truth, Doc,
Yeah.
where you can just tell the same story over and over again, even 10 years from now. You don't have to remember facts or lines.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, I mean, how is it? How's it? What's different? What's different when you're having a conversation in sales and you're talking to me on this podcast, or you're just chatting up with somebody? It definitely enhances your communication skills. It feels like wizardry almost. I
Well, look at us right now. We're chilling. And it's your morning, my late night. We're hanging out. You asked me prior, do you have a time restraint? If I'm catching somebody at 2 o'clock on a Thursday, I'm usually calling them at work. There's a sense of urgency. He's before and after something that is distracting him. It's a lot different than you and I hanging out right now during this Zen time. Hmm?
yeah, yeah,
Okay, so I mean, think of that sort of waves. And then again, you know, I've always tried to snap people out of that trance that they're in. It's not fair for them to judge me on what the person did prior to my phone call. They might have been disrespectful and didn't understand parameters, or as you say, have bad listening skills from time to time. And I think everyone deserves a straight shot at it. And so for me, the carnival barker, to come into the tent to see
Mhm.
the freak show. To remember that movie Freaks back in the day, that was great.
Yeah.
And I always admired the carnival, the old carnivals back in the day. I mean, they really sold adventure and fantasy in life, and they
Yeah.
really were larger than life to participate and get in there. And that's all you got. It's people are looking at their phones and their shiny objects and distractions. If I could possibly give them a fresh scent,
Yeah.
or all of a sudden black and white to color,
Mhm.
or from fuzzy to clear,
Mhm.
and I only get one shot at it. So my suggestion is, what do you know most? You know most is the name of your podcast. That's number one. And if I can give you the honor first, like in golf, you can start off and I'll give you a mulligan. You can play first. I let you share you first and be your biggest fan first. And after you realize that I'm non-threatening and I'm harmless, I might be interesting enough for you to reciprocate and ask me certain questions. And so that is what I've seen. And I can't take things personal.
Mhm.
I don't know them. I could be calling the day that their dog ran away or they got their brand new puppy. But as I mentioned before, I see it as jumping clouds. I see it as an art of speech.
Yeah.
I see it as it's almost like if you've ever seen these videos where people don't notice who a celebrity is. Not saying they should know the latest trends, but
Yeah.
it's very sweet and kind when an older person is sitting next to a top athlete or a top entertainer.
Yeah.
And it's almost refreshing for them because they're like, hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? Who are you? Oh, this is me. And they give a first name they still don't know.
Yeah.
And I think that's wonderful because it's a baby's innocence.
Yeah.
And it's still people are surrounded by plastic and
Mhm.
this false way of seeing things that if as I say before, you some of the best conversations you have, Doc, is with a stranger,
Mhm.
because there's no repercussion. You're not being judged. That's
Yeah.
why sometimes people go to a confession or they'll cry their eyes out to a stranger on a train or to a bartender in that
Yeah.
town because they need to get it out and someone is there and they realize it's the right time. And I'm a strong man, but there have been in certain moments of my life where I felt lost. And maybe I've reached out or people have reached out to me where they say, hey, champ, you all right today?
Mhm.
And I don't even know this individual. And just by taking the time and speaking, we were strangers. And 20 minutes later, before leaving, there's a hug and a wishing well and thank you.
Yeah.
And I didn't know this individual prior. And so, as I say, if you see somebody that is hurting or confused, it's not about giving clarity, but maybe just someone might need to let off steam or to reset or rebalance themselves.
Mhm.
And I feel bad for some people because if they're answering the phone in a certain way, they must hate what they do or they hate their job or
Yeah.
it's not a very good first impression. So sometimes by me being super sunshine, hey, mental breakthrough, how are you today? I'm reminding you
Yeah.
to step up your game a little bit because I just said the name of your company better than you did.
Yeah.
So most of the time, I'm like, who is this Mr. Sunshine? I use my anonymity.
Uh-huh.
I could be, CD's best friend calling. And so I I don't get that traditional response, or as you say, the gatekeeper. Usually I try to make somebody's day. And I tell you what, like you've done today, if you do the due diligence
Mhm.
and you just read about somebody for a minute, makes all the difference in the world. You're talking about the buffer boomerang and the positive escalations and pinball. It makes me feel good. You actually care. So just that little bit,
Yeah.
especially someone that's put their time and effort into building a business,
Yeah.
a farm, students. It's not that acknowledgement for the pat on the back. You just want to make sure that you've contributed and you made this world a little bit of a better place.